You are terrified of failing, not because failure destroys people, but because somewhere deep inside, you were taught that failure destroys identity. One mistake, one rejection, one public embarrassment, and suddenly you feel smaller, weaker, unworthy. But Marcus Aurelius believed this fear was one of the most dangerous prisons a human being could enter. Because the moment you fear failure, you stop living. You hesitate. You overthink. You wait for certainty that never comes. And slowly, your life becomes a museum of almosts. Almost started, almost changed, almost became who you wanted to be. Marcus saw something most people never understand. Failure itself is rarely the real enemy. Fear is. The fear that whispers, what if people laugh? What if I'm not good enough? What if I fail and never recover? But Marcus asked a brutal question. Why are you afraid of something that was never under your control? You can control effort. You can control discipline. You can control courage. But outcomes? Never completely. And that changes everything. Because if success is uncertain, then failure was never personal. It was always part of the process. Marcus lived in chaos, wars, disease, betrayal, political enemies waiting for weakness. He ruled one of the most powerful empires in history. Yet even he reminded himself, you are not harmed by events. You are harmed by your judgment of them. Think about that. Most people don't fail once. They fail twice. First in reality, then again in their minds. A lost opportunity becomes, I'm not talented. A breakup becomes, I'm not lovable. A business collapse becomes, I'm a loser. Marcus hated this because he believed suffering grows when identity becomes attached to outcomes. You are not your worst moment. You are not your rejection. You are not the thing that didn't work. You are the person who stood back up. And in modern America, this fear is everywhere. People stay in jobs they secretly hate. They never start the business, never post the video, never speak the truth, never ask the person out. Not because they lack ability, because they fear humiliation. Social media made it worse. Everyone appears successful, confident, winning. While privately, millions feel terrified of being exposed as failures. But Marcus would probably laugh at this illusion, because history remembers courage, not comfort. Nobody admires the person who played life perfectly safe. We admire the ones who risked embarrassment, the ones who kept moving despite uncertainty, the ones who failed and refused to let failure define them. Here is the uncomfortable truth Marcus understood. Your fear of failure is often just fear of judgment. But most people are too busy worrying about themselves to remember your mistakes. And even if they do, so what? Their opinions do not build your future. Your actions do. Marcus believed courage was not the absence of fear. It was movement despite fear, action despite uncertainty, faith in character over outcome. Because in the end, failure is temporary. Regret is permanent. One teaches, the other haunts. So maybe the question is not, what if I fail? Maybe the real question is, what disappears from my life if fear keeps winning? The dream, the confidence, the person you were meant to become. Marcus Aurelius knew something most people discover too late. A peaceful mind is not built by avoiding failure. It is built by no longer fearing it. And maybe the greatest tragedy is not failing. Maybe it is reaching the end of your life and realizing fear quietly made every important decision for you. If this kind of philosophy makes you see yourself differently, stay close. There's always another truth history tried to whisper, but most people never hear.